Okay, so I want to talk more about PHP variables. So I'm going to declare a variable here for product. So again, I've got $sign and then the name of my variable, which I decided to call product. I'll go ahead and set a value in it. And I'll declare another variable for price. So let me talk about one other data type, although it's just another numeric data type. When you have numbers with decimals, I think that's called a float, but it's still a numeric data type. So the whole numbers are called integers, these are called floats. But the importance of that is, again, string variables go inside quotes, numbers should not. So we should not have quotes around this because this is a numeric variable, in this case a float because it has decimals in it. So again, we've got a variable called product that has TV stored in it now because we set product equal to TV. And we set another variable called price equal to $3.99. So now that has that value in it. So we'll talk more about working with variables, but let's, first thing we probably want to do is print one of these out so we can see what happens. All right, so let's see, we see how to declare a variable here and set a value in it. So let's see how to print one of these out. We're going to do echo to print. And I'll just print the price. So it's $price. Don't forget your semicolon, that should go on the end of every line of PHP code. Now, that might sound simple, but we'll talk about mixing up what are called literals and variables next. So notice the effect of that echo statement. It is printed out not the word price, but whatever value is held in that variable gets printed out. So whenever you're referencing that variable, in this case referencing it to print it with an echo statement, make sure you do $sign and then the name of the variable. But I'm going to show you a couple ways to print out some information with that variable, or what's called a literal. So I'm going to put quotes around that. And I'm going, so if you're printing a variable by itself, you can just leave it out there as you saw I just did. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to print some words along with this. So I'm going to say the price is. So I put all that in quotes, including the variable name. And I want to show you another way to do that, which is probably the preferred way. But that works perfectly fine, right? So I've got echo, I've got quotes, semicolon, and inside there I've got some words and also $price, meaning a variable, meaning it'll print whatever's stored in that variable. So the result of that line of code, the price is variable value. So that's perfectly fine if you want to use print a mix of literals and variables. You can do it just like that. The newer way of doing it, and perhaps the preferred way, is using a period to connect your literal, which is in quotes, with your variable, which is outside of quotes. So this is another way, and probably the preferred way to do it. Let's look at it, and then we'll talk about that syntax. So it's pretty much the same difference there. So I've got echo, some stuff in quotes, and then instead of putting that in the quotes, you've got what's called a concatenation character, which is just a period. So I've got the stuff, the literal, space, period, space, and the variable out there. And notice when I did that, it stuck $3.99 right up against my word, so I probably want to put a space inside these quotes so it prints this plus a space, and then when it prints the $3.99, it's not right up against my stuff, right? So that's another way to print a mix of literals and variables using that period or that concatenator. Let's just do another one out here just so you can see a little bit more of that. I don't know what happened there. So I'll just print something else out here. Please pay now or something. So hopefully based on what I just showed you, this makes sense as well. We've got this plus the concatenator plus the variable name, another concatenator, and then this in quotes. Notice I've got a space at the beginning so that that $3.99 doesn't run right up against it. If I want to put a period after the price, I could put that inside the quotes to end that sentence, right? So whatever you put inside the quotes is just going to literally print right out there. Let's take a look at that. So now it looks like that period is just the end of that sentence, and this is another sentence here. So we did that by just putting that in the quotes. So outside the quotes, it's a concatenator, but inside is just, you know, whatever you literally put in there is going to print. For example, if we wanted a $sign on this, we could put a $sign inside the quotes. And that looks a little better, right? So don't get that mixed up with the $sign, which represents a variable in PHP. But if you stick a $sign inside a quotation, it's just going to literally print that out on the web page because it's printing everything it sees inside these quotes. So that's intro to variables. We'll talk more about them later, and also how you can print variables or print a mix of literals and variables. For example, we could put the person's name out, or I guess not, it's not the name, it's TV.